My name is H.A. Goodman, and I'm an author, columnist, and journalist. On November 9th, 2016, you can check my YouTube segments on November 8th and November 9th. And I explained that not only was I right, because I keep on having to remind people. It's not a problem. I'll keep reminding people. In 2015, I stated Hillary Clinton could not win. In 2015, people thought I was crazy. They said, you're a lunatic. Okay, now it's cool to dislike Clinton, whereas it wasn't cool when I was disliking Clinton, but whatever. Now, slowly but surely, the establishment publications are repeating things that I've said throughout the past year, over a year now, and that is that Trump is going to win re-election. The Democrats are not only completely fractured, but they've fabricated not only the Russian hacking, but the entire Trump-Russia collusion. It is complete and utter nonsense. Not only is it counterproductive, but liberal voters, or quote-unquote progressive or liberal voters, people who vote Democrat consistently, aren't motivated by McCarthy-era Red Scare tactics. That doesn't get liberal voters to the polls. I can go on forever, and I will after I end up reading this for you, but opinion, Donald Trump is on track to win re-election. So Politico just tweeted this out right now, and it's just so interesting. Trump is winning. Are you sick and tired of it yet? This is by Matt Latimer. Donald Trump is on track to win re-election to the presidency of the United States. Yes, despite Russiagate, despite Shithole-gate. See, that's the problem. When there is a scandal called Shithole-gate, you're not going to defeat the incumbent. You're not going to defeat Trump. When someone at a meeting said that he called a country a shithole, it's all hearsay and gossip, just like the FISA warrant. Hearsay and gossip from Alexander Downer and George Papadopoulos. Hearsay and gossip from the Trump-Russia dossier that has led to the DNC being sued by BuzzFeed. So BuzzFeed helped start all of it, and they're falling on the sword. What they really need to do is find out that, A, it wasn't a hack, or do some just investigative journalism, just like the whole BuzzFeed thing. Let the chips fall where they may. It's newsworthy. Let the people decide. They should go ahead and find out why the DNC refuses to give information on a hack from a foreign country, and why the NSA is only moderately confident. That's a whole other story. Okay, I have to read this to you because Politico is now saying that Trump is going to win, or at least it published this article, and this is at the height of the Red Scare, McCarthy-era madness and insanity within the Democratic Party. So you have to take this as almost like a moment where rational thought from people who don't want Trump to be president. This is an example of rational thought. They know what the writing's on the wall. They know they can't defeat Trump because the Democratic Party is too fractured. And I'll just read you what he writes, and I'll give you my analysis right after. Okay, so I'll probably stop every 2 seconds. But despite approval ratings that would make Nixon weep, again, Democrats have similar approval ratings, and the media has similar approval ratings. So Democrats and the media are hated just as much, or disliked just as much as Trump by the people who respond to those polls. Despite his mind-numbing political misjudgments, like destroying Libya, no, that was Obama. Defending accused pedophiles, that was wrong. So that Trump should never have, he should never have backed Moore in Alabama. For example, and the endless unnecessary daily drama. The daily drama is a temper tantrum from the media. So Trump is winning. It is actually happening, people. Yes, it is happening. If you watch this YouTube channel, you would know. In 2015, on this YouTube channel, in addition to my writing in The Hill, The Huffington Post, and Salon. It is actually happening, and if there are those who want to stop it, and there are, of course, millions, they need to know what they are up against. It's a lot more than they overconfidently think. So this guy is very intelligent. Who is this guy? Matt Latimer. It's an excellent article already. First, consider the fact that Trump is simply lucky. Simply lucky. Okay, maybe one of the luckiest men ever to run for president. He was so lucky. Well, let's see. He did get Clinton, but then he was so lucky that he was spied on since 2015 by GCHQ. And he was so lucky that people around him, from Carter Page to Manafort, the FISA warrants were given to spy on people around him based on hearsay and gossip. And he was so lucky that he was almost certainly caught in the communication between himself and Manafort or anyone else he spoke to, Flynn, when they were wiretapped. Wow, how lucky he was to be spied on by Obama, and how lucky he is right now to be... Basically, it's this political... It actually is the definition of a political witch hunt. They haven't even accused him of a specific crime, and there's zero evidence. Even Adam Schiff has zero evidence. All he does is get punked and pranked by two Russian journalists who are... Vovan and Lexus. I interviewed them, but I'll continue. He somehow managed to turn his reputation for audacity and shamelessness into a shield. How many controversies and scandals has he survived that would have destroyed any of his predecessors long ago or sent them hiding in their homes in shame? Actually, there are no scandals. The real scandals destroying Libya, for example, that is a scandal of epic proportions. Clinton Foundation scandals, Clinton email where she actually had top secret intelligence on a private server. That's a scandal. That is a scandal. Shithole Gate wasn't a scandal. What else? Saying that his inaugural had more people than anyone else. I mean, it's not a scandal. These are Hillary Clinton saying she survived Bosnian sniper fire. That is more embarrassing than anything that took place with Trump. And if you want to bring up Charlottesville, bring up the poor woman who was killed, Heather Heyer, and why the police were told to stand down. That woman should be alive today, but Terry McAuliffe almost certainly told the police to stand down. Have you ever seen in your life, have you ever witnessed a demonstration where the police didn't descend upon the demonstrators at a certain point? That was a photo op. And then, of course, he very awkwardly stated, Trump awkwardly stated, well, there's good people on both sides, but what he tried to say is not everyone on the conservative side was a Klan member. That's what he was trying to convey, and he also condemned the white supremacists and Klan members. And he literally condemned them, but of course it was spun into all this. So all of these are failed tactics by the Democratic Party. The backdrop being that Bernie Sanders was cheated. Whether or not he cares, that's completely irrelevant. Bernie Sanders was cheated. And Debbie Wasserman Schultz was forced to step down, and it wasn't the Russians who forced her to step down. Okay. The other day, his personal lawyer made the preposterous claim that he personally paid $130,000 to an ex-porn star, threatening to expose her relationship with Trump with money from his own pocket, apparently just because Trump is a notoriously swell guy. How many lawyers? So who cares about Stormy Daniels? I mean, are you kidding me? That's what's going to impeach him? That's what would have said. It didn't. Bill Clinton got oral sex from an intern, and now Monica Lewinsky today was saying, hey, you know what? He abused the relationship. There was sexual misconduct there, the power dynamic, and he wasn't kicked out of office. This is having sex with a porn star long before he became president. What is wrong with that? Well, you can go into what's wrong with that, but how does that lead to impeachment? Did anyone believe that ridiculous story? Okay. Does anyone believe that Hillary Clinton didn't know what the C meant? No. She knew the C didn't mean casserole. It meant confidential. She lied throughout the whole thing. That's a real scandal. That's why the indictments will take place. It's not a matter of if, it's a matter of when. The DOJ, what do you think they're going to do? Telegraph it right now? The DOJ and the FBI are currently investigating Hillary Clinton. That's a fact. This is a fact. Go check the Daily Beast and The Hill, and that's a fact. A month and a half ago, they reported that. The media, what do you think the media is going to do? Talk about that every day? Of course not. Of course not. They're going to pretend that when the indictments hit, oh my God, how dare Trump is a tyrant dictator. Oh my God, he's going after a political opponent. All right. Who knows, because it's off the front pages and we moved on to yet another shocking scandal like last week's tweet storm, when the President of the United States seemed to blame Russian investigation for the death of school children in Florida. That's not exactly true. The FBI was focused only on Russia. The FBI was given a tip. They completely effed up. Not only a tip, it's like they were basically told this is going to happen. Look into it. They didn't even look into it. Remember the pardon of the controversial Sheriff Joe Arpaio, a birther who was accused. You know who else was a birther? Hillary Clinton. Her campaign, actually David Plouffe, this was in The Guardian, called Clinton's use of a photo of Barack Obama in African attire as the most shameful offense of fear-mongering because it was meant to take advantage of the Islamophobia and kind of, get more conservative Democrats to think Obama wasn't born in the country. That was Hillary Clinton. So Trump should not have promoted that birther myth either. I disagree with that. But Hillary Clinton shouldn't have either. Nobody talks about that. We are too exhausted. Okay. Okay. Second, consider Trump's record as president. He actually has something to run on. He's cut taxes. There you go. Okay. So I view Trump as political retribution. There are people who literally stated that Trump will destroy the planet. He will destroy the United States of America. And when he had his fake news awards, what is it? Paul Krugman was #1, said the economy would be in utter despair. Well, that didn't happen. Second, consider Trump's record as president. He actually has something to run on. He's cut taxes. He's rolled back regulations. He's put ISIS on its heels. The economy and the stock market are humming along again, despite recent turmoil. Any other Republican incumbent running on that record of relative peace and prosperity, just as Eisenhower and Reagan did, would be in pretty good shape for re-election. Trump, as loathed as he is, not by me, I view him as political retribution, and I voted for Jill Stein. There are Jill Stein and Bernie Sanders supporters who view Trump as retribution. They might not tell you, they might not publicize it, and they might even retweet, and they might even tell you how much they hate Trump. But deep down, believe me, they're okay with the Trump presidency if it destroys the Democratic Party politically. Trump, as loathed as he is, might not cruise to re-election on an electoral landslide like those predecessors, but if jobs continue to be created and the economy continues to hum, whether he deserves the credit or not, enough voters might just hold their nose again and vote for him. See, that's the thing. Voters didn't hold their nose. There are people who wanted Trump in 2016, and there will be people who want Trump, 60 million of them, in 2020. Third, his opposition can't get their act together. Who speaks for the Democratic Party? Depends on what time it is. What does the Democratic Party stand for? Exactly. Well, they hate Trump and Russia. Oh, and they oppose tax cuts. Always a popular proposition, especially at a time when Trump's supposed satanic tax bill has now found favor with the majority of the nation. This is a good article. A lot, of course, depends on who Trump will be running against come November. Doesn't matter. It'll be a corporate Democrat, and he or she will lose miserably, just like Clinton. And they'll pretend to be progressive. I'm no longer progressive. I've completely shed that label. I'm just independent, me, H.A. Goodman, just a citizen, and I'm not a political label. But with Trump appearing both despised and vulnerable, the Democratic field in 2020 is going to be perhaps the largest in the party's history. But that's actually a problem. One can easily envision an ugly 2-, 3-, or 4-way free-for-all between aging but popular politicians Biden, Warren, and Sanders. They will never let Bernie win. Never, ever, ever, ever. If Bernie becomes nominee of the Democratic Party, I'll vote for Bernie Sanders. Even with everything that's taken place. Unless he continues to become something he's not. If he continues to just, continues to pump the Russia myth, continues to, if they allow him to become Democratic nominee, I'll vote for Bernie. But they'll never allow him. They will never in a million years allow him to become Democratic nominee. I interviewed Jared Beck. I have the great pleasure of interviewing Jared Beck many times. I asked him in one of the interviews, will they cheat Bernie or Nina Turner or Tulsi Gabbard? He said 100%. And I trust Jared Beck. He's obviously Jared, Elizabeth Beck, Nico House. Without them, we don't have a DNC fraud lawsuit to hold the Democratic Party accountable. And the Democratic Party lawyers just the other day said We wouldn't know these things without Jared Beck. So that's how important Jared and Elizabeth and Nico House are. We wouldn't know all of this without those three. That it's their First Amendment right to cheat. The Hillary and Bernie wings never quite reconciled. Gee, I wonder why. This time the divide looks like it could be even worse. Ah, but wait, you say, you forgot the silver-haired knight waiting in his castle to come out and slay the orange dragon once and for all? What about Robert Mueller's investigation, the one that CNN has devoted its entire network to covering with such intensity they may soon move to the entire DC bureau to Mueller's front lawn? I have to read that again. That's very good. What about the Robert Mueller investigation, the one that CNN has devoted its entire network to covering with such intensity that they may soon move the entire DC bureau to Mueller's front lawn? Isn't that going to send Trump and his evil cronies to the pokey? Well, I guess it's possible, but not likely. It's true that Mueller seems to run a tight ship with a penchant for surprise. But Mueller, okay, so all of this is a really, really interesting article. Check it out. It goes into, basically, it admits everything that it's a palatable version of the H.A. Goodman YouTube channel. This is a very, very refined, diplomatic, even though the author probably thinks I'm crazy. Matt Latimer is a former speechwriter for President George W. Bush. Okay, I think Bush is the worst president in history. But it's an excellent article, and it's essentially stating everything that I've stated for the past year. And in fact, I started warning, if you want to use that word, I've started telling people on November 9th, you can check my YouTube segments on November 9th, 10th, 11th, 12th, 2016. From November of 2016 till February 26th of 2018, I have been telling people the same thing. I have been telling people that when I used to consider myself a progressive, but I don't anymore because they don't want to deal with reality. The reality is that the Democratic Party hates progressives and will do everything possible to destroy Bernie's movement, Jill's movement. They view progressives actually as a bigger threat than Trump. So they pretend to dislike Trump, but at the end of the day, they'll give him spying powers. They'll give him powers through the authorization for the use of military force. They'll give him every single major, grandiose power, executive power. So he can send troops anywhere, he can spy on Americans. But the progressives will focus on tax cuts and how horrible tax cuts are. They won't focus. If you bring up the authorization for use of military force, you are a libertarian. If you're anti-war, to a lot of progressives, you're just like a libertarian. And then they come up with these words like, oh my God, everything's a euphemism. Everything, you're a sympathizer, you're a this sympathizer, you're a reactionary, it's like they're semantically challenged, yet they think that they own the thesaurus or dictionary. Give me your thoughts below. Share this segment everywhere. Thank you so much for listening. And hit subscribe right now.